Hey guys, hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. If you're so inclined and you get the chance, please hit that subscribe button down below and the bell notification icon next to the subscribe button. If you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it'll notify you when I release new content. It'll let YouTube know that you're an actual human who's interested in EDC content. And it'll really help me out by allegedly letting my videos be seen by additional people. But that's all that is, guys. I appreciate it if you subscribe. It'd mean the world to me. But today I wanted to talk about a fixed blade knife. We'll pull this one aside and we'll pretend we're talking about one knife. A fixed blade knife that I picked up back probably about 6 months ago when I first got into looking for the perfect EDC fixed blade, right? It's when I got enthralled by the chickadee and I wanted a knife that was small, that was compact, that was carryable daily. And one of the knives I picked up, actually two of the knives I picked up, was this MKM Makro. This is the Makro 2 or Makro 2, M-A-K-R-O 2. And it is the big brother of the MKM, sorry about that, guys. The MKM Makro, which is this little small fixie that I've shown on the channel. We've done some reviews on. It's a really cool little small knife, but this is its bigger brother. And as you can tell, the handle is going to be bigger and the blade is going to be slightly longer. But it's still a very small, very able, Jesper Voxnaes inspired and designed fixed blade that's done very well. So talking about the Makro, we have actually a drop point version. We have the MKM Makro 1 and the MKM Makro 2. The only difference in the designation in these two knives, and the reason I wanted to show them both, is there's a drop point version and there is also a sheep's foot version. They come from MKM with this really well done leather slip that has a magnetic clasp so you can drop it in your pocket very easily. Use that as a retention strap to stay in your pocket and then draw your knife that way. MKM also makes as you guys know, a Kydex kit, an extra carry kit. It's just like the little Kydex carry kit on the Makro here. And they make the same carry kit for the Makro that comes with either the leather straps for mounting it on your belt, or it comes with an ulti-clip if you want to have it as a pocket dropper. It also comes with some cordage if you want to have it as a neck knife, and retention is very good. I've got one for the Makro 1, which is the drop point, and also the Makro 2, which is the sheep's foot. So these knives are M390 blade steel. They both, just like the Makro, are perfectly balanced. So when I hold those on my fingers, that is the balance point right there where my finger naturally rests in that choil. So it's a one grip and done knife. So you put your finger in that choil, grip the handle, and then you've got this jimping on the sheep's foot right here to keep your hand locked into position for those cuts. And then on the drop point, it's the same way. You've got your hand kind of dictated where it's going to go, but it's very ergonomical, very comfortable, and you've got that jimping for your finger to go. And I think the jimps are lined up slightly different on the sheep's foot and the drop point, and that's just because Jesper Voxnaes is looking for those traction points and where you want those, and has done just a great job. This has Micarta scales. Let's just talk about one so it doesn't get confusing for you guys. So we'll talk about the drop point. The sheep's foot's the same knife, just available for somebody who's looking for that sheep's point blade, right? So you've got the M390 blade, full tang construction. This particular variant has Micarta inlays, which with the T8 screw, I could take these off because this knife is also sold as just a skeletonized version. So if these handles were a little too thick for you, you could definitely thin it down by removing the handles or buying the version without the handles. They also make it with carbon fiber inserts and just really kind of an elegant gentleman's folder. So this knife, when I carry it, I typically carry it as a pocket dropper. I typically carry it, that's why they're both in these sheaths. I just like them. It works really well. I can have it face either way depending on which way I want to grip the knife, which pocket I've got it in. And I also will use the carry kit. I've got the sheep's foot Kydex sheath somewhere. I hadn't been able to find it today, but in either case, I wanted to go ahead and make the video, so I didn't wait for it. So this knife, again, when we talked about the micro, I told you guys, and the reason I show the micro and the macro is the micro is the smaller of the two, and I might have called this one the micro earlier, I don't know. But in either case, they are both very similar knives for very similar tasks. The macro just gives you a little bit more blade and a little bit more handle to get it done, right? So I get much better grip. I have more cutting surface. Let's grab one of the coupons out of the coupon book and see if this guy still cuts. Both of these knives have been through the ringer with processing cardboard, which is a good thing. They get used because they get carried quite a bit. And when I carry a fixed blade, like I've told you guys in the past on my EDC days that I do carry a fixed blade, I don't always carry them to the office, but when I do carry a fixed blade, I find myself using it even more than my folder because it's just so convenient. That could use a stropping. Let's see how sharp the sheep's foot is. They've both been sharper, and they both should be a little bit, not beaten down, but they should be a little bit in need of some TLC. But they're both very nice knives, very nice blades. They're not the thinnest behind the edge, but what I would consider they are very ample cutters, right? And when you look at a knife like the little Vox, MKM Vox, that is, the MKM Vox Makro, I just can't stress how comfortable it is in hand. If it's, to me, it's the perfect size. Let's take out little Javon's budget ruler. 6.5 inches. So maybe I prefer a little bit smaller, but at 6.5 inches, I can tell you the way that this knife's designed, all 6.5 inches are very, very usable. So let's do a couple of quick size comparisons just to get an idea of the size of the knife compared to some other knives. So let's look at it next to the Bradford Guardian 3, next Rex 45. And you can see those handles. I'm trying to line those guys up. So the Guardian 3, a little bit longer, not much, a lot thicker, a lot heavier knife, a lot more to carry. Let's look at it next to Javon's J-Cal Pakuta, which is just a custom little blade that I've got there. And if you look at those handles and those choils, how they line up, it's just a tiny bit bigger than my regular J-Cal, the small J-Cal. And then let's look at it next to a very popular fixed blade knife, the Tops Burden Trout. This is a great knife, guys. I'm doing another review, full-time review on this, or long-term review. Again, just about half of an inch shorter. And then let's look at it next to my number one, the little J-Cal, or excuse me, that is my number one, the J-Cal. That was a Freudian slip, but the Jacob Creates Chickadee. So it is going to be, as expected, bigger than the Chickadee. And it's also, as we saw earlier, bigger than the MKM Makro. But back to the MKM Makro, and I will probably mix those up all through the video, but that's just kind of how I roll. I can't stress enough how good this knife really is. So I'll get some measurements for you. We'll get some blade thicknesses. We'll get a weight on this little beast. But yes, this knife for a fixed blade is Javon approved. It's probably one of definitely my top 10 EDC fixed blades, maybe in the top 5. I've got a lot of EDC fixed blades, guys, that I really like, and I'll bring them all to you. So let's get some dimensions. On the overall, we looked at it before. I think it was 6.5. The blade is coming in, depending on where you measure it, at 3 inches. The cutting area is coming in at 3 inches. The handle from that choil to the back of this is 3 3/4. So that's right here. That's it in a medium to large size hand. Let's grab Grateful Panic's Mituyo precision calipers. And we will come to learn that the stock on the tang and the blade is 0.1585. If I can get it behind the edge measurement, which I'm not good at getting these, this is above where I sharpen, 0.0275. And I think it's got pretty good blade geometry. The handle thickness is 0.47, so right under half of an inch, guys. And to me, I have taken these scales off to see what it would be like skeletonized, and it's much less comfortable. I did not wrap it in paracord. I just put the scales back on because the Micarta scales to me were a choice. They weren't just because of the budget. I think they feel soft in the hand. I love the Stonewashed blade on this knife. I love the fact that it is a fixed blade, and I know it's going to do whatever I need it to do. I think it's got a great self-defense posture if that's what you're into, but it's also a great daily cutter, and it's a knife that I like a whole bunch. So guys, hopefully that was helpful for you. Hopefully it showed you a little about the MKM Makro 1, the MKM Makro 2, the sheep's foot version. These two guys are identical, except for in blade. I think you have 3 inches cutting here too. You do. So yeah, guys, thank you for being involved in the channel, however you choose to be involved in the channel. When I say involved, you're here watching this video, and I thank you. I would love it if you'd be subscribed. That would just tickle me pink, make me just stoked. But I'm stoked that you're here anyway. What I really ask is that you look out for the guy or gal to your left, look out for the guy or gal to your right, look out for one another, go forward with love in your heart, and please choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.